Hey YouTube, the Home Cinema Engineer is back, and I'm pretty excited for this video because today we are going to be installing my Dolby Atmos speakers. Over the last month or so, I finished building up my 4 Dolby Atmos speaker boxes for the KEF speakers I showed you in a previous video. Here they are. I designed them based off an existing KEF speaker, and as you can see from the side profile, they're angled and they're going to be mounted up on the ceiling. Yeah, so after they were all glued up and sanded, I just cut out the holes and put in the speaker terminal and placed the speaker in. And before you know it, I had 4 Dolby Atmos speakers. So I'm very excited to get these installed, wired up, and then I got to recalibrate my system. Then I can finally watch a bunch of movies I've been putting off with Dolby Atmos soundtracks on them, so I'm very excited. Overall, I'm very happy with the way these speakers turned out. I built them out of 3/4 inch plywood, Baltic birch. I used dado and rabbet joints, and I used an awful lot of glue, glued up the seams to make them airtight. And once they were glued up and dried, I sanded them, and then I just wrapped these cabinets in a black vinyl wrap that I got on Amazon, which gives it kind of a brushed black aluminum appearance. So very happy with how they turned out, and I learned a lot building them, and it was very fun. And I did manage to hook them up, 2 of them up, and place them on the floor right here and there, and just kind of heard them as a stereo pair, and they sound very good. So I was very satisfied with these sounds, so I think they will make great Dolby Atmos speakers. And they are, of course, KEF in-wall ceiling speakers, so they are timbre matched to the rest of my 7 KEF speakers, which are on the bed layer. As far as the mounting bracket is concerned, it's a pretty simple mount that I got off of Monoprice. Steel bracket, just screwed in. It's about 3 inches from here, 2 inches on each side. And this is what it looks like. So it just slots in like this. And then there's 2 little retention screws that you tighten. And then once you have the bracket in place, then you just pop on these black plastic covers right here. And it'll cover both sides. And this mount is pretty cool. It's very strong. It's rated for, I think, 25 pounds, but based on the construction, I'd say it'd probably be able to hold a lot more if you really wanted it to. It swivels left to right, 180 degrees. And then this part right here, swivels this way.
Okay, so in this section, I want to walk you through the speaker placement of a Dolby Atmos enabled system. In this case, it's going to be a 7.1.4 system, and in my case, just an extra subwoofer, which is pretty typical for large rooms. And this just simply states the optimal angles for all the speakers in your system. So obviously the center channel is dead center in the room, pointed directly at your sweet spot, which should also be dead center in the room or dead center to the screen. And then the front, left, and right speakers are at a 22-degree angle from the center position. And then the back surrounds are directly to your left and to your right. And then the back surround speakers are at a 135-degree angle. So this picture shows you the on-axis response of the Dolby Atmos speakers you have placed overhead in your system. And this just simply correlates to the angles of the tweeter. And you want to aim your speaker in such a way that it hits your ear at these angles. So for the front speakers, regardless of how many you have, you want them hitting the sweet spot or listening areas at anywhere between a 30 to 55-degree angle, with 45 being the most preferred. And with the back speakers, it's going to be 135, which is the optimal on-axis response angle, or you could go with 125 or 150. But just make sure you get them aligned to the same angle. So if you did 30 in front, you had to do 150 in back, 45, 135, or 55 with 125 for the optimal Dolby Atmos experience according to Dolby.
So the way I'm doing this in my theater, it's actually pretty clever. If you don't have any type of easy way to figure out your angle, I just set up my tripod in my seat. I got my level, set it on here, it's level. And then I got my carpenter's square, which is set on a 45-degree angle. I just took a laser that I have and I taped it to there, and then it's just shining up on the ceiling. So that laser you see right there is about where I want my tweeter to be for the front left Dolby Atmos speaker. And then it's just going to be the same thing on the other side. Now, that tape is the relative position of where the speaker is going to go, and I might get a small boundary effect from the speaker being so close to this, but I don't think it's going to affect it that much, and I'm just kind of stuck with this for now, so that's just where it's going to go, and I'll just have to deal with it. So having this set up like this will allow me to get the placement of the first speaker that's going to be aiming directly at me, and then I'll move this tripod over to where my fiance sits, and that'll give me the placement for the other speaker, which is roughly around where that tape is. And then I'll just flip it around and do the same thing for over there and the speaker that's going to go right there. And so in the setup, it'll favor the Dolby Atmos setup or the sweet spot for definitely this couch area. And technically this would be the sweet spot right in the middle, but that's not a seat. So back here though, they'll still get a really, really good Dolby Atmos effect. And that's simply because the KEF speakers that I have, that's just the way they're designed. Their drivers are a coaxial type speaker, so the tweeter is centered inside the mid-range driver, so it gives really good off-axis response. So I'm not worried about people back here not having a good Dolby Atmos surround sound experience. So I'm just gonna set my camera down, and you'll see a time lapse of me installing these speakers. Okay, and here it is all installed. It's done. I screwed the brackets directly into the studs, and they have some small little retention screws that lock the plate that is connected to the speaker to the actual mount itself, so they're not going to go anywhere. I mean, I can have these 212s just going crazy and those speakers aren't going to be moving, so I'm pretty happy with these brackets. So next I just got to cut the lengths of wire them up, and then recalibrate my entire system. And then I'm ready to watch movies in 7.2.4 Dolby Atmos format. In the next video, I will show you how to calibrate your system to reference level to get every single speaker at the same exact level using an SPL meter. And I'll also show you and walk you through the setup of the Odyssey Multi-EQ XT32 using the Odyssey Editor app on your iPhone or iPad or mobile device. If you liked the video, please like, subscribe, and please hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when the next video drops. Until next time, cheers and happy listening.